I've been living in this house for 35 years. Built it myself, actually, back when I was 28 and stupid enough to think I could handle electrical work without an electrician. Nearly burned the whole thing down twice, but somehow it all worked out. The mortgage was paid off 12 years ago, and I figured this place would be my home until they carried me out in a box. Turns out my daughter Nicole had other plans. "Dad, we need to talk," she said, settling into the kitchen chair across from me. It was Sunday evening, and she'd driven over with her husband Shane after what she called an urgent family discussion. That phrase never means anything good. I set down my coffee and waited. At 58, I've learned that when someone says they need to talk, it's better to let them get to the point instead of trying to guess what's coming. "Shane and I have been thinking about your situation," Nicole continued, using that careful tone she'd perfected in her marketing job. "You're getting older, living alone in this big house. We're worried about you." Shane nodded along like he'd rehearsed this. "It's a lot of house for one person, Ryan. Maintenance, upkeep, all those stairs. What if something happens and no one's around to help?" I looked around my kitchen. Same oak cabinets I'd installed in 1989. Same tile floor where Nicole had taken her first steps. Same window overlooking the backyard where I'd taught her to throw a baseball when she was 8. "I'm doing fine," I said. "House is in good shape. I keep up with everything. That's not the point, Dad." Nicole leaned forward, switching to what I recognized as her closing a deal voice. "The point is that you're sitting on a valuable asset that's not working for you anymore. This house is worth about $850,000 now. That's a lot of money just sitting here." There it was. I'd wondered when we'd get to the money part. "You could sell, move into a nice assisted living community, and have plenty left over for your retirement," Shane added. "We've done the math. Even after taxes and fees, you'd be looking at enough to live comfortably for the rest of your life." I sipped my coffee and studied them both. Nicole had her mother's eyes, but none of her patience. Shane had always been a numbers guy, the type who could make financial projections sound like acts of charity. "Have you picked out this assisted living place already?" I asked. "We've done some research," Nicole admitted. "There's a beautiful place called Golden Years Manor, about 20 minutes from here. Private apartments, meal service, activities, medical staff on site. You'd love it. And it would give you peace of mind," Shane said, "knowing you're somewhere safe with people looking out for you." I nodded slowly like I was considering it. Truth was, I'd been expecting this conversation for months. Ever since Nicole and Shane had started house hunting in the more expensive neighborhoods. Ever since their second kid was born and they'd started complaining about space. "The thing is," Nicole continued, "if we're going to do this, we should do it right. Shane's been researching the tax implications, and there are some advantages to moving quickly." "What kind of advantages?" Shane pulled out his phone and opened what looked like a spreadsheet. "Well, if you transfer the property to us now, we can handle the sale and minimize the tax burden. The key is setting it up as a family transfer rather than a straight sale." "You want me to sign the house over to you?" "Temporarily," Nicole said quickly, "just to handle the logistics. We'd take care of everything, listing it, dealing with realtors, handling the paperwork. You wouldn't have to worry about any of that stress." I leaned back in my chair. These two had put a lot of thought into this plan, too much thought actually. The kind of detailed preparation that suggested they'd been discussing my house and my money for quite a while. "When would this need to happen?" I asked. "Soon," Shane said. "Market conditions are good right now, but they might not stay that way. If we wait too long, you could lose out on the current value." Nicole reached across the table and patted my hand. "Dad, I know this is a big change, but Shane and I just want what's best for you. You worked so hard your whole life. You deserve to relax and enjoy your retirement without worrying about home repairs and yard work." I looked at my daughter's face. She believed what she was saying, at least partly. But there was something else there too, something that reminded me of her mother during the divorce negotiations 15 years ago. A kind of determined reasonableness that meant she'd already decided how this was going to end. "Let me think about it," I said. "Of course," Nicole said. "Take your time, but not too much time. We don't want to miss the right market window." After they left, I sat in my kitchen for a long time, looking around at everything I'd built. The house felt different somehow, like it was already half gone. I thought about calling my brother or maybe my neighbor to talk it through, but something stopped me. Instead, I went to my computer and started making some phone calls of my own. The first call went to Patricia Mills, a private investigator I'd worked with during my divorce. Back then, she'd helped me track down some financial discrepancies my ex-wife had tried to hide. Professional, thorough, and expensive, but worth every penny. "Ryan Foster," she said when she picked up. "Been a while. What's got you calling on a Sunday night? Family problems, I said. The expensive kind, they usually are. What do you need? I explained the situation. Nicole's sudden interest in my house, Shane's convenient tax expertise, the perfectly researched assisted living facility. Patricia listened without interrupting, which was one of the things I liked about her. You want me to look into their finances, she said when I finished. I want to know if they're in trouble. The kind of trouble that would make an $850,000 house look like a solution. Give me 3 days. I'll need their full names, addresses, places of employment. Nicole Foster Parker, Shane Parker. She works at Meridian Marketing downtown. He's at Southwest Financial Services. I'll be in touch. The second call was to my lawyer, though I had to leave a voicemail since it was Sunday. The third was to my bank, just to confirm that my accounts were secure and hadn't been touched without my knowledge. They were. Monday morning I did something I hadn't done in months. I got dressed like I was going to work, khakis, button-down shirt, decent shoes, and drove to the courthouse. Took me 2 hours to figure out the right office. But I eventually found what I was looking for. Public records. Shane Parker had filed for bankruptcy 7 years ago. Dismissed, but it was there. Nicole's marketing company had let go 30% of their staff 6 months ago. Nothing criminal. Nothing that screamed desperation, but enough to paint a picture of a young couple feeling financial pressure. Tuesday brought a call from Patricia. Your daughter and son-in-law are what I'd call financially optimistic, she said. Not broke, but stretched. They've got a mortgage on their current place, 2 car payments, credit card debt that's manageable but consistent. Shane's been selling insurance policies at about 60% of his quota for the past year. Anything else? They've been looking at houses in the 650 to 750 range. Been pre-approved for 580. They need a down payment of about $120,000 to make the numbers work. That night, Nicole called. Dad, have you had a chance to think about what we discussed? I'm thinking about it. Well, don't think too long. Shane found out that interest rates might go up next month. If you're going to do this, sooner is better than later. Wednesday, my lawyer called back. Richard Brennan, 30 years of family law, mostly divorces and estate planning. What exactly are you trying to accomplish, Ryan? I want to know what happens if I sign my house over to my daughter. Legally, I mean, what are my rights? What are my protections? Honestly, very few. If you deed the property to her, it's hers. She could sell it tomorrow and keep every penny, and there's nothing you could do about it. What if we drew up some kind of agreement? Something that protects me. We could try, but those agreements can be challenged, especially if there's any question about your mental competency or whether you are under duress. Your best protection is keeping the property in your name. But what if I wanted to trap someone? Legally, I mean. There was a pause. That's an interesting question. What did you have in mind? Thursday evening, Nicole and Shane came back. This time they brought papers. We had Shane's lawyer friend draw up a simple transfer document, Nicole said, spreading the paperwork across my dining room table. It's very straightforward. You sign here, and we take care of everything else. I picked up the document and read through it slowly. Standard property transfer, nothing fancy. If I signed it, the house would belong to Nicole Foster Parker, free and clear. This says the consideration is $1, I said. That's normal for family transfers, Shane explained. It keeps the tax implications simple. And what happens to me after I sign this? We've already put a deposit down at Golden Years Manor, Nicole said. They have a beautiful unit available next month. We can move you in as soon as we close on the house sale. I set the papers down. You put a deposit down. Before I agreed to anything. We wanted to make sure the timing worked out, Shane said. These places fill up fast. We didn't want you to miss out. How much was the deposit? Nicole hesitated. $100. Fully refundable if you change your mind. I nodded and picked up a pen, like I was getting ready to sign. Both of them leaned forward slightly. Just one thing, I said. I'd like to have my lawyer look this over first. Richard always handles my paperwork. The change was immediate. Shane's face tightened. Nicole's smile became forced. Dad, that's not necessary. It's a simple document. Having a lawyer involved just complicates things and costs money. I've got time and I've got money, I said. Richard's been handling my affairs for 15 years. I'm comfortable with him reviewing anything I sign. But if we wait for lawyers and reviews, we might miss the market window, Shane said. Every day we delay costs potential value. I stood up and gathered the papers. I'll call Richard in the morning. Should have his opinion by Friday. After they left, I called Patricia. They're moving faster than I expected, I told her. I need everything you can find by tomorrow. Bank records, debt situations, any unusual activity in the past 6 months. I'll make some calls tonight. Then I called Richard Brennan. I need a favor, I said. A big one. Friday morning, Patricia called with everything I needed to know. Your son-in-law has been busier than we thought, she said. 3 applications for second mortgages in the past 4 months, all denied. Credit card balances have doubled since January. And here's the interesting part. He's been researching reverse mortgages and elder care financing for the past 6 weeks, before they ever talked to me about selling. That's right. Shane Parker has been planning this conversation for over a month. There's also something else. Nicole's company didn't just downsize. They're restructuring, and her department is being eliminated entirely. She's got maybe 8 weeks left. That afternoon, Richard Brennan called. I've got your legal trap, he said. It's risky, but it'll work if you're willing to play it perfectly. Tell me. We create a situation where they think they've gotten what they want, but you maintain control through a legal mechanism they won't see coming. You'll need to trust me completely and follow the script exactly. Saturday evening, Nicole called again. Dad, we really need to move on this. Shane spoke with his friend at the real estate office, and he thinks we should list the house immediately after the transfer. Market conditions won't stay favorable much longer. I've been thinking about what you said, I told her, about me deserving to relax and enjoy my retirement. Maybe you're right. You mean you'll sign? I'd like to have one last family dinner in the house first. Tomorrow night, you, Shane, maybe the grandkids if they want to come. One final meal before everything changes. The relief in her voice was unmistakable. That's perfect, Dad. We'll be there at 6. Sunday at 5:30. I was in the kitchen putting the finishing touches on dinner when they arrived. Nicole brought her famous potato salad. Shane carried a bottle of wine, and they both had the kind of barely contained excitement people get when they think they've won something. This smells amazing, Nicole said, hugging me like she hadn't seen me in months instead of days. Is this your pot roast recipe? Mom's recipe, actually, seemed appropriate. We sat down at the dining room table, the same one where I'd helped Nicole with homework 20 years ago, where we'd celebrated birthdays and Christmas mornings, where I'd signed my divorce papers. Before we eat, I said, raising my glass, I want to say something. They both looked at me expectantly. I've spent a lot of time this week thinking about family, about what we owe each other, about what really matters. I paused, looking around the room. This house has been good to me, but houses are just buildings. Family is what's important. Exactly, Shane said quickly. That's exactly right. Which is why I've decided to go ahead with the transfer. Nicole actually clapped her hands. Dad, that's wonderful. I know this is the right decision. I reached under my napkin and pulled out the transfer document they'd brought Thursday night. I've had Richard look it over, and he says it's fine. I'm ready to sign. The speed with which Shane produced a pen was almost comical. I signed the document slowly, deliberately, while they watched. Nicole was practically vibrating with excitement. When I finished, Shane immediately folded the papers and put them in his jacket pocket. You won't regret this, Ryan, he said. We're going to take care of everything. I'm sure you will, I said. Then I reached under my napkin again and pulled out a manila folder, which brings us to the next part of tonight's conversation. The change in atmosphere was immediate. Nicole's smile froze. Shane's hand moved instinctively toward his jacket pocket where he'd put the transfer papers. What's that, Dad? I opened the folder and spread out several documents. Bank statements, credit reports, mortgage applications, research printouts about reverse mortgages and elder care financing. This is what you've both been busy with for the past 2 months, I said calmly, planning how to get my house without actually asking if I wanted to sell it. Shane's face had gone pale. I don't know what you think those papers show, but they show that you've been researching reverse mortgages since March. They show Nicole's job being eliminated, your 3 rejected loan applications, your doubled credit card debt. I looked directly at my daughter. They show that you put a deposit down on that assisted living place before you ever talked to me about moving. Nicole opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Here's the thing, I continued, pulling out another set of papers. That document you're so happy about, the one Shane just put in his pocket. It has a clause that Richard added. A very specific clause. Shane pulled the papers back out and started reading frantically. Page 3, paragraph 8, I said helpfully. The transfer is contingent on me voluntarily moving to assisted living within 60 days. If I don't move, if I change my mind, if I decide I'm not ready, if anything happens that prevents the move, the property reverts to me automatically. Nicole found her voice. But Dad, you agreed. I said I was ready to sign, and I was. I never said I was ready to move. I stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the backyard I'd maintained for 35 years. See, here's what you both forgot. I built this house. I know every inch of it, every system, every problem, every strength, and I know something else. I turned back to face them. I know I'm not ready to leave. Shane stood up so fast he knocked over his wine glass. Red wine spread across my white tablecloth like blood on snow. "This is ridiculous," he said, his voice rising. "You can't just change your mind after signing legal documents. We had an agreement." "We absolutely did," I said, staying calm. "An agreement with very specific terms. Terms that Richard made sure to include for exactly this situation." Nicole was staring at the transfer papers like they'd turned into snakes. "Dad, this isn't fair. We've already made commitments based on this house sale. We've put money down, made plans. Plans you made without asking me," I pointed out. "Money you spent before you even knew if I'd agree to sell." Shane pulled out his phone. "I'm calling my lawyer friend. This can't be legal." "Go ahead," I said. "Richard will be happy to explain the contract law to him. Meanwhile, I'll be staying right here in my house." The room went quiet except for the sound of Shane frantically dialing. Nicole sat back down heavily, staring at her hands. "Why?" she asked finally. "Why would you do this to us?" I walked back to the table and sat down across from her. "Do what, Nicole?" "Keep my own house. Stay in the home I built with my own hands." "You know what I mean. The trick, the trap. If you didn't want to sell, why didn't you just say so? Because you wouldn't have listened," I said. "You'd already decided how this was going to go. You'd researched assisted living places, calculated tax implications, even figured out listing prices. You just needed the old man to cooperate." Shane finished his call and slammed his phone down. "My friend says the contract is ironclad. As long as you don't move, the house stays yours. Smart friend." Nicole started crying, not the dignified tears of disappointment, but the frustrated sobs of someone whose carefully laid plans had just collapsed. "We needed this, Dad." "You don't understand the pressure we're under." "I understand it perfectly," I said. "Your job's being eliminated. Shane's behind on his insurance quotas. You've got more debt than income, and you saw my house as the solution to all your problems." "So what?" she said, anger replacing the tears. "So what if we needed help?" "You're our family. Isn't that what family does?" "Family asks for help," I said. "Family doesn't manipulate and scheme and try to trick each other into giving up everything they've worked for." Shane had been pacing back and forth behind Nicole's chair. Now he stopped and leaned forward, putting his hands flat on the table. "Look, Ryan, let's be practical here. You're 58 years old, living alone in a house that's too big for you. You could have an accident, a health emergency, anything. What if you fall down those stairs? What if you have a heart attack and no one finds you for days? What if I live another 30 years and die peacefully in my own bed?" I countered. "What if I want to wake up every morning in the house I built instead of some sterile apartment where strangers tell me when to eat dinner?" Nicole wiped her eyes and looked at me with something I'd never seen before. Real anger. Not the passing irritation of childhood, but deep, adult resentment. "Fine," she said. "Keep your precious house, but don't expect us to come running every time you need something. Don't expect us to worry about you, or check on you, or help you when you really do get too old to take care of yourself." I nodded slowly. "I wouldn't dream of it." She stood up and grabbed her purse. Shane was already putting on his jacket. "We'll get our own lawyer," she said. "Have this contract reviewed properly. Maybe there's a way to challenge your mental competency or prove you were acting under duress." "Nicole," I said quietly. She turned back toward me. "The house will be here when you're ready to visit as my daughter instead of as someone trying to take it away from me." They left without another word. I heard their car start up and drive away, then the house settled into the kind of deep quiet that only comes when you're truly alone. I spent the next hour cleaning up dinner, washing dishes, putting away leftovers they'd never eaten. The wine stain on the tablecloth would probably never come out completely, but I figured it would make a good reminder. That night I sat in my living room looking around at everything I'd nearly lost, the bookcases I'd built from scratch, the fireplace where I'd taught Nicole to roast marshmallows, the hardwood floors I'd refinished myself 3 times over the years. It might be too big for one person. I might have accidents or health emergencies, but it was mine, earned through 35 years of mortgage payments and weekend projects and careful maintenance. Nicole and Shane could figure out their own financial problems without stealing mine. 3 months later, Nicole called. Her voice was different, smaller, less certain. "Dad, I was wondering if maybe we could talk. I'm here, I said. She'd found another job, part-time but steady. Shane had started selling cars instead of insurance and was doing better. They'd moved to a smaller apartment, downsized their lives to match their actual income instead of their wishful thinking. I'm sorry, she said, about everything. About trying to manipulate you, about getting angry when it didn't work, about threatening to abandon you. Apology accepted. Can I come over for dinner this Sunday? Just me, not Shane, just to talk. I smiled, looking out my kitchen window at the backyard where I'd taught her to throw a baseball 25 years ago. I'll make pot roast. Direct address to Rita. Here's what I learned from nearly losing everything I'd worked for. When family starts talking about what's best for you while calculating what's best for them, it's time to get suspicious. When children who've barely visited start making detailed plans for your future, pay attention to whose needs those plans really serve. I'm not saying don't trust your family. I'm saying trust but verify. Get your own lawyer. Ask the hard questions. And remember that gratitude for a lifetime of support doesn't mean signing away your independence. Your home, your assets, your choices, minus they're yours until you decide otherwise. Don't let anyone convince you that protecting what's yours makes you selfish. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for your family is teach them they can't take advantage of you.